Hi everyone. So here I am in my basement tonight. My partner is streaming at the moment and his office is right above us. There's a heater vent that offers zero insulation, so you'll probably hear him yelling as he plays video games for an audience of kids. But tonight I want to offer an outlet for us to express our rage. I grew up in a world, and I think many of us probably did too, where it was inappropriate and unacceptable to express emotions like rage or like deep sadness, anger, any kind of like negative emotion that's uncomfortable for people who aren't used to being around it. I think many parents do this without maybe even realizing they do when they tell their kids to stop crying, or even like offer treats or distractions or other things because they want their kids to be happy, they want them to stop crying, and the intention behind that is good, but it can lead to undesired results when we don't allow our bodies to experience what they're experiencing. And I I started to discover this by studying Fitzmaurice Voicework, without realizing that it was going to lead to this. But one of the things that Catherine offered one day, one of my classmates said, I want a place to express my rage. Where do I express my rage? And I don't know if our teacher Catherine meant to go there that particular day or not, but she pulled out these like these padded baseball bats, and she had us stack up all of our yoga mats, and so we could only do it one at a time. And so I don't have a padded baseball bat, but I'll use a pillow, and then we did like two different ways. And I don't think that I actually did this on that day. I know that I didn't think I had any rage at that time. But that was just because I had stuffed it down so far, and it's also really scary to go there when we're not used to it. But the world right now, I mean, it's becoming a lot clearer to a lot more people. I think that rage is an emotion that exists in all of us, and I think that in order to move through it collectively, we need to honor it and express it, and like let our body experience it so that we can not be trapped by it anymore, and so that we can figure out what's on the other side, what our bodies are telling us by giving us these emotions, and then take action from it. I'll just say one more thing. I've been to a few of the protests happening, right? And for me, sometimes this is not all that it is, but sometimes those crowds of people are holding a lot of this kind of intensity of emotion, not necessarily at the rage level, but it's like a lot of mobilized emotion that a big crowd of people is holding on to. And for me, I don't know how many of the rest of you experience this, but when I am around other people who are holding heightened emotion, sometimes my body tries to absorb it, and sometimes it's hard for me to know in the moment that that's what's happening. But so sometimes in those kinds of situations, when I actually need to also express the heightened emotion that I'm feeling, instead what happens for me is I'm not actually able to really express what I'm feeling, and instead I end up like absorbing all of this emotion that everybody else is expressing, and then I come away from it even more like amped up and stuck, and like I don't know what to do with it all when I'm not able to express what I'm holding inside, if that makes sense. So this is an offering for us to express our rage or our grief or our frustration or sadness or anger or whatever it is that might be locked up inside. This is an offering. So I invite you to try this with me. I have an old mattress here in my basement. You can do it on your bed, on your couch. Just make sure that it's something really padded, because we're going to be pounding it. You'll see. Tommy's expressing his rage upstairs through his video games. So it's all apt. It's all it's really, really needed right now. So I'll start with a pillow here. This is kind of ridiculous to teach because there's no like method to this, but the idea is like get the rage out. People use, I think, boxing for this too, or even like cardiovascular exercise of almost any kind. But this is really really a direct way to express it. You don't have to like get in your exercise clothes or like buy boxing gloves or anything. You can do it on your bed. All right, so here we go. You can yell, whatever you need to do as you express your rage, right? And again, it's like a destructured kind of thing, like with the tremor. So see if you can let your spine be buoyant instead of like trying to be really engaged with it. Try to let your body flow through it. But whatever, you can't do this wrong. All right, so that's one way to do it. You can, if you find other ways to do it, by all means, go for it. But here, sometimes we see kids in grocery stores who are throwing a tantrum, and it's literally this kind of thing. So, good God. I invite you to do that for as long and as often as you need to. Instead of holding it inside or like cutting other people off in traffic, or like letting it build up and then, picking a stupid fight with your partner, I invite you to release some of that energy and some of that emotion through this. And notice your breath, notice the shift in energy, and see if you can allow it to mobilize you to action. See what your body can teach you, see what your breath can teach you, see what this movement and flow of energy can teach you. In Fitzmaurice Voicework, this kind of thing is like the tremoring that we've been doing. It's like the first half. She calls it destructuring, which is kind of like what it sounds like. It's tearing everything apart, tearing away the barriers and any kind of structure that we've built up, and just like mucking around in the chaos for a while to see what that can break apart and what that can illuminate. And then the second half of it is called restructuring, and it's like diaphragmatic support and actually finding out how to communicate authentically from your center. So if you want to, after this, if you want to find your feet and ground down, that's what we would do in a voice class, right? So just finding your feet, connecting to the earth. When you're out of breath like this, you kind of automatically take deeper breaths and just connect to that center, the center of communication. It's the transverse abdominis area that we communicate from, but just when we communicate from our deepest truth, from our center, that's what the restructuring, the second part of it, is about. And the one leads to the other. When we explore destructuring, then we're able to find a real sense of whole grounding and whole self and communicate authentically, which is what we need. So I invite you to explore that. Let me know if you do. Let me know what you find. Let me know if you have questions or thoughts. Love you guys. Be well.